Dartham, raises a hand. He's about to say, technically that wasn't me, but he thinks better and does not say that.
Thank you.
And, I'm sorry. He sounds very confused.
She's gonna, she stops and she looks at you and she's giving you a look of, I don't think she's, with her eyes, she's just like, take off the hood. Take off the hood. If I'm gonna yell at you, I'm gonna yell at your face.
And he's definitely hesitant, but he will.
And I think she kind of gives a cursory, like, what kind of damage did I do? Was that a good punch?
There's a bit of black blood leaking down. You might even see there's maybe like a slightly loose tooth.
20 years ago, I was in Kirkwall, and do you know what your magic feels like, sir?
Not entirely, and I remember. I am sorry.
At least you remember. I was going to say, if you didn't remember, I would be very offended. The thought of you tainting countless young women and then running into the night and not leaving any kind of forwarding word did not sit well with me, my dear.
Well, I am sorry. To you and anyone else, everyone else who I've tainted.
I would just like to tell you about what I experienced. Just indulge me. Just 5 minutes more, I promise. It was like my heart was being squeezed. This blackness oozing out of all of my facial orifices. I couldn't breathe, and every time I tried, more and more would just seep into my veins. I swear, and I don't know if this was something I thought of, I don't know if this was real, but I swear I could feel it bubbling under my skin. It took years to feel clean again. I saw your face in my nightmares for years. Do you have any idea how much therapy I had to go through once I got back to Saharon?
Yes.
Thank you.
And you can definitely see, Dartham has said yes, and he is looking towards you, but there's a distant gaze in his eyes. He's remembering, and there's definitely a pained look on his face.
I'm not entirely sure if you actually mean that, or if you're just saying that to be polite. And I think she runs her fingers through her hair, leans back against the caravan. She stands next to you. She's not shying away from you. I think something also you might have noticed is that when you removed her, she did not flinch. There was there was as much recognition as if you'd had a perfectly normal face.
Okay.
For want of a better word. And I think she gives a very long sigh, and she looks up at the stars. And I think she says, I've said what I wanted to say, and I got my frustrations out. I am sorry for punching you.
You don't have to be, I deserved it.
But I can understand why you wouldn't say this immediately. But why didn't you say this? Why did you not?
I am not exactly unique. There are more awakened.
Are you all living in a little village somewhere?
Yes.
What? Well, okay. May I ask where?
Well, we're probably going there. The deep roads near Orzammar.
Well, that makes sense at least. Ugh. And there are more of you roaming the surface, going on adventures, doing weird
No.
shit?
I am unique in that sense.
Okay.
It's a long story, but, there is a method to awakening the Darkspawn. From what I understand, it's similar to how Grey Wardens are made.
Okay. If I may be blunt, I'm not entirely sure. I want to know.
After I was awakened, my mind was very much broken. I would not have been coherent if not for Lithia. She was my, I suppose you would call, therapist. But when I awoke, I remembered what I had done. Not everything, but enough. I can remember that I've killed over 200,000 people. I've been in 5 blights, enthralled by 5 archdemons to mount through Athemiel. Owen. Yes, I am not from a modern time.
Well, if you've survived 5 blights,
I was turned even before the first blight began.
Oh my god. Can I ask, when did you remember Rousseau and myself?
When I revealed myself to him as a gesture of trust. And he mentioned a few words that keyed in my memories. So that would have been a week ago or so.
Why did you not tell me then?
Then I was still broken, still a hypocrite. I truly did consider myself a monster. One of my first memories upon awakening was remembering how I murdered my own family in Minrathos. I blamed myself. Oh, I blamed the Blight, I blamed the Archdemons, but I considered myself a part of them. Your comment on the locusts, that was a large factor in helping me realize I didn't have a choice.
Well, I'm glad I could be of some help.
But, I'm revealing this to other people soon. While in Orlais, Andrea, she took me and Tirin away to speak to us, if you remember.
I do.
She is She has given me and Tirin a prototype.
A prototype of what?
A cure for the blight. Right now, I'm test subject 1. Currently, it only prevents me from infecting others. It's why I've been a little less antisocial as of late. And to be blunt, my plan was to eradicate every single darkspawn, awakened or otherwise, before killing myself. Among the awakened, I'm known as the Butcher.
I can't exactly say I disagree with the first part of your plan, but
having the ability to heal, to save people, not through blind vengeance, it could still be a death sentence. The side effects are severe and untested. But, as I said to Sir Ashwood, I was born a slave in ancient Tevinter. Then I spent 1,200 years serving under archdemon after archdemon. And even after I was a slave to my past, by choosing to become a slave now to Lyrium, well, I made a choice. And I didn't speak up before because I didn't want to endanger anyone. I didn't want to, whether the awakened or not, because if I was wrong, then I didn't want them having all of Thedas bearing down on them. I was selfish and a hypocrite. I still am. But, yes.
you said you plan on telling everyone?
Well, we are most likely going to the Awakened Village. So anyone who's coming will need to know.
And aside from this, there are no more secrets. Yes?
In terms of myself, no. I have nothing other to hide.
Pasha gives you a look. Like she is evaluating your words very carefully. And I think she's just gonna fix you with a stare. And she says again, and there are no more secrets. Yes.
If there are, they're not mine to tell.
Very well.
But all of the secrets that I had, yes.
I appreciate that, Deatham. I like you. I like you a lot. You do not treat the Qun with the scorn that I am used to it being treated with.
I don't truly think, well, some things are more black and white, but most human or otherwise, most mortal things I don't think can be black and white. From what all of you have said of the Qun and what I had heard, it seemed quite exemplary. I will say, though, hearing what Andrea said in that alley made me reconsider. But I still don't consider the Qun to be evil. I consider the Qun to be deeply flawed, just like everything is deeply flawed.
Flawed I will take. It implies open-mindedness. The ability to say, I may not agree with these people, but I can at least listen and try to interpret.
Oh, certainly. The Kyun. It is a way of life. It's like a religion. I think it is a religion.
Yes and no.
But speaking from experience, mortals need some way to cope. Somehow. There has to be something to give order or sense to the world, otherwise I'm the result. Or I was. For me, finding that coping is that cure, that purpose. For you, it's the cure. And I don't begrudge anyone their way of coping, their way of living. It's the difference, I think, between surviving and living.
Pasha gives a nod. And
The only thing I begrudge, apologies, but the only thing I begrudge in any way of coping is the idea that it is the only way to cope, which is frankly, objectively false. To have it an option to cope, that is true and that is admirable, but to have it refuse other options, that I consider more black.
I would love to debate this with you, Dirtham. But unfortunately, I am a little bit busy tonight. I just wanted to have this little chat with you, put us both on the same page. Do take care of yourself, my
You
dear.
as well. And I probably wouldn't be able to talk too much longer. My jaw's really hurting.
Oh. Sorry about that.
It's fine. Rousseau nearly strangled me to death, so you're frankly the lighter punishment.
I think Pasha, she gives a wry smile, and she will turn, and she will walk away.
I'd like to knock on Merchant Narika's
Sure.
door.
So you'll knock on Narika's door. She'll open it and she'll say, "Mr. Faust, this is a surprise. I don't think you've ever come to visit our quarters before. I don't think that Pasha's around, however."
Well, today I'm here looking for you.
"With me?"
Yeah. I have some purchases I need, as well as, to get to know you. I don't think we've ever properly talked before.
"Of course. Well, come in, dear," she says, "and allow me to allow you to peruse through my wares."
So what I'm specifically looking for is decanters, beakers, stuff for potion making.
Potion making. I believe I have a set of those right around. She like shuffles through things. "Ah, yes, of course. Here we are." And she'll show you a set basically, which you can get for, again, you'd have to help me find out what a price would be in the player's handbook, but
Yeah, I'd have to look that up.
she'll probably give it to you at like a 15% discount or something along those lines. 15% discount.
Yeah. Thank you for having, like everything on hand. Surprised with what you can find in your trunk.
Well, I always Payne's Practical Products always tries to be prepared to meet the needs of their clients, their customer.
Yeah. Does she wear any of the crow stuff on her by
No.
chance? Oh, okay. Yeah, I also know that merchants have to, keep apprised of all the information that's going on in the world. So I bet you're pretty well traveled, aren't you?
I would like to say so. The caravan travels all over Thedas.
Wow, you must have seen your a good fair share of things in the world.
Oh, my boy, I can regale you with many stories of things
Oh
that we
boy.
have experienced.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn more about the world as well as maybe make a few contacts and, you know, learn how to effectively collect information as
Oh, good. I can provide you with a number of very popular dating places, especially popular to the dwarves, if you would like for me to regale you with those.
he sort of you know like was not expecting that and it's a little taken aback if he's drinking something a little oh
Oh, come now, Leon. Let me be the first to break it to you if you haven't realized it yourself. The entire the entire circus has noticed the way that she's been looking at you. And yes, I know you know who I'm referring to, so
d-
don't be so
uh,
surprised.
well we've been we, we're going to brew potions at some point. Yep. Okay. Yes. That's why I came here to get some beakers. Yeah.
Well, there's no need for you to get all flustered. Why is it that every time there is even a mention of her that you get so disoriented and discombobulated?
Well, I've not met very many people, and this is a new experience. And well, usually when you feel strong emotions in the circle, it's frowned upon. Whew.
The things that they teach at these circles, the things they don't teach at these circles, she says.
I'm pretty sure that the maker is uh, the religion likes people to keep a bit of proprietary around them. Leave room for the maker.
See, my dear boy, that I personally believe is a misinterpretation and a misconception. The way that I was raised, all these people that seem to be saying that the maker cares who you sleep with and when. I honestly don't think that the maker cares. Many of the other certain chantries believe that he or she does, but others others seem to care less.
Yeah, and well, as much as the Templars have sort of ground religious doctrine into me, I don't know if I believe in a lot of it, but I think that it provides a good way of solace to people, as well as, well, it helps keep mages in line, I guess.
Well, I don't think you were prepared to speak to me about religious philosophies, so
Theology, yes. How how do you start your contact list when you come into a new town? I know it's very important for merchants to be up and up on the current prices of everything.
I do have many traveling guides and books that provides me with information about said city that we go to, and most of the places we go to are some of more major cities because that is, as Mr. Agnaldo would say, the most profitable places.
Yes, yes. Um,
And as far as who is specifically leading the city and kings, queens, princes, princesses, things of that nature, a lot of that, unfortunately, is gathered by word of mouth.
hmm. So taverns are good to be in then.
Taverns is a very good place for the latest gossip, yes.
I also heard something about like a information exchange where someone can pay coin for secrets.
Yes, there definitely are those cases. Why do you ask about such things?
Well, we when we are adventuring around, we come across a whole bunch of intrigue and secrets, and in order to learn more about them, I think it would be useful to make contact with maybe some of those more underground societies to better interpret some of the information we're coming across.
Well, if you have any connections with those organizations, then by all means, I would recommend that you take advantage of it.
How do you make contact with an organization that you don't know about then?
Well, it's all about who you do know, then, of course. Every single organization works very differently, and the way that they contact each other is very different because it's a secret.
Yeah, it's not profitable if everyone knows.
Nor effective, from what I've been told.
Yes, yes. I'm afraid that, as we go about adventuring, that either I will have to join one of these secret societies or, well, pay more and more out of my pocket each time to try to get some of this information.
What sort of information are you seeking?
Well, there's been a lot of, well, sightings of dragons, and we'd like to learn a little bit more, maybe some of the secrets that someone comes across, like where are they coming from? Any information on dragon attacks, or, well, we've heard tale of scaled ones, maybe some, there's only so much you can get from a book.
That's very true. Current events and all that good stuff. But do you have a way of contacting these organizations then?
I do, but I'm a little hesitant to use it as, well, I think someone will be catching up with everything I'm inquiring about.
That is a natural consequence of such things, yes.
Yes. So I think that I would like to lean upon my own abilities before I have to, well, use a trump card and lean on someone else's influence.
Whatever you think is best, Mr. Faust.
Okay. I mean, I know you're an upstanding merchant and everything, but do you have any tips or hints on which I could start my contact on?
I never claimed to be an upstanding merchant. I take my job very seriously, but thank you for thinking so. I personally don't have very much experience with those societies myself. As I said, all the information that I gather are normally through taverns and such, and not necessarily through a secret organization.
Okay.
As far as tips, to be perfectly honest, I heard that you had spoken with the guardians of air and water, and I'm sure that the guardian of water herself may have some guidance as to how to contact these people.
Yes, she gave me a list of her contacts in which I could contact them if necessary. But, you know, with this latest debacle of, well, some of our secrets getting out and as much help as they have been, they've also, it's hard having someone looking over your shoulder, if you know what I mean.
Oh, well, just because somebody's looking over your shoulder doesn't mean that it's for malicious reasons.
Yes, 100%, but sometimes you just want to see what you can do, and it's hard when your parents are watching.
Well, it's a resource that you don't have to use then.
Yes. One other question um, that I'd like to ask you in confidence, if possible. Um, I was left a riddle with our few of our adventures that I've been completely stumped on.
Oh?
As someone who's well traveled, um, do you know where I can find a location where one is privileged to file but shackled at the same time?
Privilege to file. file, but shackled. She looks through it over again, and she reads it over and over again. Maybe it's a word association kind of message. Like, some sort of riddle where specific words actually means other things. Synonyms almost. Take, for example, this privileged. Why use the word privileged? What are other words for privileged?
Higher society, like aristocrats.
Perhaps. It could mean high society. It could mean a class system. But it also means something a little bit more basic than that. Something more general. If you're privileged, then you're not oppressed. Therefore, you are not enslaved. You have freedoms. You are free to file. Free to walk. To file.
Maybe
to travel.
something with, as we've been talking with Tirin and Darren, they're privileged. Darren is privileged because she's earned her freedom.
Perhaps. Privileged to file. And what do they mean by the word file? Do they mean like filing documents, or do they mean like files, like you're marching in a file? Privileged marching. Free.
Oh, free march?
Free marches?
There are the free marches. Geographic area.
That's true. Privilege to file does seem to match free marches. Privilege to file, and what was the second part again?
Yet shackled at the same time.
Yet shackled at the same time. That's the part that I am less sure of. But anyway, That's what my gut is telling me. My gut is saying that privilege to file is referring to the free marches.
Interesting.
As far as shackled at the same time, I'm not sure.
That does definitely seem correct. Do you happen to have a map that I could look at?
Of course, she says. And, she'll open one up for you. This is the one I use.
Just looking at the city names, the city of chains, because they're shackled.
That would be Kirkwall.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Merchant Eureka.
You're welcome.
And, well, when we come into this next town, do you mind if I join you on some of your information gathering?
I think that would be a splendid idea.
Well, thank you so much.
And if you want anyone else to tag along with us, it's perftly fine, she says with a smile.
Yeah. We're coming to the Dwarven cities coming up here soon, and we could go back to your flagship store.
Oh, that would be perfect. It'll give me an opportunity to restock.
Wow, yes. Yes.
Very well then. If we're able to make a stopover at the breach, as in the hideout that would be perfect.
Sounds lovely. Thank you so much for your help, and I look forward to coming into town and figuring out some things.
It'll be my pleasure, Mr. Faust. Have a good day.
Thank you. And he walks out.
Okay.
Simply because I feel like it'd be better transition to the Dales. I'll go to Violetta first.
You'll go over to Violetta, and by this point, you're going to see that she is working with Balin right now. And she's basically trying to get him to some sort of like meditation exercise. And so Balin's just kind of sitting down, and he seems to be very calm, like calmer than a normal 6-year-old would be. And she just is saying, Now, Balin, just breathe in. Hold it. Good. Just clear your head. Take in all of your surroundings, but ignore it. Just be aware that they're there, but just remain in this bubble. You can hear the sounds. Focus only on my voice. And that's going to be when you enter in. Ah, Rousseau. Keep the exercise, Balin.
That's the most calm I've ever seen him.
Well, one of the things about being a guardian is that you need to have focus, which is especially important with a guardian of fire.
Yeah, I could see how that could go bad if you didn't.
If you do not maintain focus, you do not maintain control. And by nature, fire is the most, well, aptly put, volatile of the 5 elements.
Interesting. How's he been doing? I know we're only a couple lessons in, but I'm curious.
As you can imagine, very eager to put the bracer on. But I told him I would allow him in due time.
Okay.
Because this is not like me handing over a box of matches to a child. This is me handing them essentially a large explosive.
That's kind of terrifying to think about. But he's gonna have to learn. I was just... How are you settling in? I know this is different from what you've been doing for a while.
I'm settling quite fine. As I said, I'm very much used to traveling in a caravan. I've gotten to know pretty much everyone around here by name. And everyone here has been extremely lovely. Especially Master Ignaldo.
Oh, if that man's nothing else, elegance is what bleeds from him.
He is a very charismatic man.
So, when you were telling me about hex magic, what you do, how much does that allow you to see the unknown?
It depends. What sort of unknown are you referring to?
I came into some information that I didn't quite know how to handle, and I feel like if anyone could tell me more about it, it'd be you.
Well, first and foremost, if by unknown you're talking about an unknown curse, that is my personal wheelhouse. So if you've been afflicted with some sort of effect that is curse-like or hex-like, I can easily detect it.
It's not so much as a curse, it's just I've never really studied any of the arcane, the occult, or much of the ancients, and I found out I'm something that was gone long ago.
You're going to have to be a little more specific, she says, looking very curious.
I'm gonna just kind of lean in and say, I'm not a half-breed, I'm a scaled one.
This does seem to take Violetta by surprise. She glances over at Balin, who again doesn't seem to be paying attention to this conversation. And then she says, "That is very interesting indeed. What led you to believe such a thing?"
I'm just gonna pull out, like, not the whole stack of letters for the sake of time, but like the 3 most relevant ones that will ever put it together.
She'll take a look at the letters. Huh. Well, I have heard rumors that the Kunari, the Kossith race, had descended from dragons in some shape or form. So these letters do make a lot of sense if the rumors are at least partially true.
I'm curious if the species has changed, because that would mean I'm a more ancient form of what they are now. If there's anything more unique or supernatural about me that I'm not knowing.
Do you have that strand of hair of yours again?
Yeah, I'll pull it out my pocket.
The last time I did this, she says, I was looking for curses and hexes specifically. But if you want me to dive deeper, I must warn you it will be uncomfortable.
Been worse. Go ahead.
All right. She says, it might be better for you to lie down.
Okay, you got somewhere more private, so in case this does go bad, he won't see us.
Of course. Step into my wagon, she says. She'll take you she'll take you by the hand and will lead you into the wagon. And then she'll take you over to, there's only like one bed here. So it's a very nice looking bed. It's very poofy and it's got a lot of very Antivan like decor about it. And, you know, she'll have you lie down on it. It is crazy comfortable. Oh my gosh. Probably the most comfortable thing that you've like been in for a very long time.
Oh my, how much did this cost?
Quite a pretty penny. I got it at one of my favorite shops in Antiva.
Whew, I might have to write their name down after this. Anyway.
It's fit for a prince and a princess. So. Alright, Mr. Alren. Just try to relax. I'm just warning you, though, you will start feeling some sensations that are, to put it lightly, invasive. But if you want me to get to the crux of things, it is a necessary discomfort.
Okay. It's what she would have wanted, so let's do it.
Alright. She is going to take out her doll. She will attach the hair on the doll, and then she will start to do some poking. And this feels similar to the way what happened before, but like she said, without me getting to details, it does feel internally more invasive. And it lasts for a good 5 minutes or so. But afterwards, she ends, and she says, well, I think that I have been able to draw as much as I can. First of all, I've pretty much confirmed that there is something within you that is, again, I'm assuming that is the chakra portion of you. It is foreign, it wasn't there before. However, it does seem that due to your I guess you'll have to call it scaled one DNA, there's something within you that's could be unlocked towards these chakra abilities that it's almost like there's a shut gate that hasn't been opened yet within you, which may result in some very interesting synergetic abilities, considering that you've got these chakra abilities and are yourself supposedly a scaled one. Unfortunately, she says, I do not have the knowledge of how to unlock such a thing from within you. Somebody who is a little bit more well-versed about chakra energy would be required. Perhaps even someone who is into the ancient art of acupuncture.
I'll have to keep that in mind. I'm gonna, lean up off the bed Just like a little bit.
There are other things also, Mr. Alren. I can sense her, your mother's DNA. But I sense that you have it in a form that, again, is foreign. It wasn't something, oddly enough, it wasn't something that you were born into. It's something that was acquired a little bit later in life, somehow.
I mean, the notes say they did some ritual to awaken the egg I came from.
Then everything lines up the way that the letters say.
May I confess something?
Of course. You and I have 100% transparency, Mr. Elren.
This whole thing terrifies me just a bit more now that I know that I'm a scaled one. The chakras going on all of this. I found out through my peers that the scaled ones in particular are very attuned to the chakras and synergy in the air, and I mean it makes sense that I would have been picked as an avatar given what I really am now, but there's one other caveat that came at the end of it that I'm worried would happen to me.
And that is?
It said a pure scaled one ascends to a dragon at the end of their journey. I don't know what would happen. The others, I feel like they'd gain a form or ability, but I might be trapped like that.
It is a logical concern. But I feel that if you are truly a scaled one, then I'd like to think that these powers are more attuned to you than anyone else, and therefore you would be embracing something that was always a part of you. I don't think you should be afraid of that. It might be hard to accept, I admit.
The only thing that scares me about embracing is I wouldn't be able to be with him anymore. I would my intelligence change? Would I be stuck forever having to hide from everything?
I can't give you any guidance on that if I was being 100% honest. But my gut says, having limited knowledge about how these chakra avatar abilities work, is that it will be more of a benefit to you than not.
Okay. Then that's what I'm going to hold in my head till I find otherwise. Thanks.
Of course, Mr. Alren. I am here to serve. My primary goal is, of course, to protect and train your son. But, by extension, you are my secondary focus as well.
Well, given how everything's gone, I think for the rest of my days I'm irreparably tied to the Guardians.
And, more importantly, tied to him, your son.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that you are able to provide him with the things he needs, and that you continue to provide him with things that you have been ever since he's been under your care. So I'd like to believe that by me taking care of you, it'll help you take care of him.
It's rather ironic. Feels like yesterday I was getting him out of Cumberland with crows on my back.
He's been a bit upset, let me just say.
I know.
These focusing exercises were actually for two reasons. Not just to focus his abilities for his guardian powers, but also to clear his mind of the things that were hovering in his head from a conversation I believe you two had.
Yeah, when Andrea and Cedric paid us a visit, I was pretty gung ho to keep everything hidden as long as I could because of my paranoia. Unfortunately, that wasn't realistic because I saw it was hurting him when I got back. After I told them, they paid me pity that they didn't have to, and I came clean. And that's probably what's been Adam.
My advice, again, take it or leave it, is continue to give him some time and space. I'd like to believe that for a 6-year-old, he will eventually come to you.
Okay.
If he was 13, that would be a completely different matter.
No.
But at 6, he will come to you when he's ready.
Yeah, it just hurts having to wait that time.
Mr. Alren, I believe they're ready for lunch now. Would you care to join me?
If you'd have me.
Of course. Let us all be off then, and she'll open the wagon. And as you guys are leaving the wagon, I'm going to say that Spin and Dry they were just outside the wagon, and they're kind of giving you that look of, that Violetta chick just took Alren into the wagon. Now they're both coming out of the wagon, and they seem to just have you this very strange look on their faces.
Lead on.
Okay.
I think Pasha, she's just kind of wandering around the caravans, and she's gonna see Rosie.
Okay.
Maybe, sat on the steps of. She's sharing with Mai and Ty, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna say that she's probably with Mai and Ty right now. I'll say.
Okay. Pasha's. I think Pasha walks past, and then she kind of has a. No, I am gonna, and she's kind of gonna double back and just like gently rap on the door of the caravan and say, Rosie.
Yes. Hi, Pasha.
Could I have a minute of your time, please?
Oh, yes, of course. If you'd excuse me, girls. And the two, Mai and Tai, wave at you.
Pasha waves back.
We're glad that you weren't lost in the woods forever, the Mai and Tai said.
I'm very glad that I didn't get buried alive.
Yes. Rosie was telling us stories about the haunted forest. Whew. They both shake. Definitely, I'm glad we didn't have to go in there ourselves. Oh no, that would have been disastrous.
Oh, I'm sure you would have been safe, girls. You would have taken copious amounts of prune juice and you would have been fine.
And by this point, Rosie will be stepping out. What can I do for you, Pasha?
Pasha's gonna kind of lead Rosie away just a little bit so that Mai and Tai aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
of course. Because they do that.
And she's gonna say, now, Rosie, please don't think me nosy or that I'm trying to pry into your personal business.
Uh-huh.
But, and I think she's gonna kind of look over towards the doctor caravan where Leon is sleeping.
Okay.
But you catch my drift, right?
Oh, by the stone, can you please help me, Pasha? I have been trying so hard, and he just doesn't seem to be responsive at all, and I'm thinking maybe he doesn't really like me back, but I've been trying to be really nice to him, and I've heard that if you want to show somebody that you like them, that you're actually supposed to be mean to them, but I can never be mean to Leon. I just don't think I'd have it in me to do anything mean to him.
That is the stupidest advice. Never do that. That is pure foolishness. And he clearly likes you back. He blushes. Have you his ears? The tops of his ears go bright red. Have you noticed that?
Really? I wasn't sure if it was that or if he just felt really uncomfortable and awkward around me and just didn't know how to tell me that he's uncomfortable and awkward.
I think it might be a bit of both, but the good kind of uncomfortable.
What should I do? I thought I made it pretty obvious, but it's been a couple weeks now, and I mean, I don't know what else to do.
Keep at it. I'm not sure whether I should tell you this story or not, but once, many years ago, back when I was young myself, I was rather in a similar...
Really? What did you do?
Well, like, here's the thing. I was in Leon's position. I wasn't in your position.
Oh.
Yes, in the end, she grabbed my shoulders and said, Rana, I am a grown woman. I have needs. And then she kissed me. And that rather got my attention. I'm not necessarily saying you should do that, but as a last resort.
So when she did, what happened? What did you do?
Melted. I think that would be the word in your language. I melted.
So you're saying it worked?
It did work. I was very young, and I was much too nervous to ever say how I felt. And she was a lot bolder than I. Or a lot more impatient, one of the two.
I guess I just am not the kind of person who would make a first move like that. I've been trying to... I think that's the thing. I don't feel confident enough to make such a bold statement.
Why on earth not? You are a beautiful, charming young lady. And I think Pasha would try and find something reflective so that she could, like, put Rosie in front of him and be like, look at yourself.
I don't know, I guess called me old-fashioned, but I don't know, there's just something very appealing about being pursued as opposed to being the pursuer. You know, some people prefer being one and some prefer being the other, and I guess for me, there's just, I don't know, something romantic about somebody actually pursuing me instead of beating around the bush, and which I guess is what I'm doing right now. So that makes me a hypocrite, I suppose.
There can be romance in pursuing. I would just advise you that if you keep going on the path you're going on, you might be in your 80s before anything happens.
Yes, and by then, Leon and Tirin will probably be together with some Mabari hounds living off the land.
Maybe. That might happen, but if you get in there first, you can be the one to prevent that.
You don't think that Leon is interested in a long-term with, well, she sort of looks at herself and, like, long-term with someone like me, because, again, human, dwarf, out of character, human and dwarf, yeah.
I think Pasha is gonna... She's trying not to be... She's gonna get down on Rosie's level, either by, like, sitting or something. She's just not trying to be an asshole about it, basically. And she's gonna take Rosie's shoulders. You listen here, Rosie Solney. Don't ever doubt yourself. You are beautiful, you are kind, and you are very intelligent. You are everything that any decent young man would desire. And I won't hear anything of the other. Do you understand me?
Yes. Yes, that's true. Thank you. Okay. I think I have an idea, but I need your help with it. And I have a feeling that you might not feel comfortable with what I'm going to ask you to help me with.
Ask first, and then we'll see.
In order for me to pursue Leon, I need Mr. Bunn. But I don't know how to get to Mr. Bunn. He always seems to have Mr. Bunn, and I could talk to Tirin, but I feel closer to you, and it's only for a moment. Only for a moment. Won't do anything to him permanent.
I'll see what I can do. Oh, the young love, why? Pash will go and attempt to find Mr. Bunn.
So, Tirin, there's a knock at your door. Before this conversation, there's another knock at your door. And when you open it, you see Tumble, the third Broma brother.
Tumble.
Hey, Doc.
You got a problem? I don't see. You alright there?
Yeah. Can I come in?
Sure. I let him in. Close the door. What's going on, Tumble?
Comes in and he looks very nervous, like more nervous than he normally is about seeing you. And he says, So Doc. So here's the thing. We just came back from, well, the Tirishan, but before that we came back from Orlais, and well, over the last few days I've been he starts scratching himself. I've been feeling a little itchy, manly itchiness, if you catch my drift.
He just puts the fingers like this. What is wrong? Do you feel like you need to itch yourself, or is there a metaphor for something that's going on right now at the camp that I don't know?
I mean, I'm itchy, and things are red when they aren't supposed to be red, and well, they can turn red during certain times, but not during this time, he says.
Okay, so what I could possibly guess from redness is either you have an allergy of sorts. That's the conclusion I can come up with, but I have to do a little bit of a physical examination. I won't take long. Where are you itching specifically? Where are you specifically itching?
He sort of like looks down and he says,
for
Doc,
God's sake.
I said manly itchiness.
That's where you were.
Manly.
Tirin just puts. Oh, God. I knew this was going to happen at some point in my procedure-ness.
I have a feeling it was this chick that I saw in Orlais. She seemed perfectly nice. I think she was a servant girl.
What did you... Don't tell me you... Did you go to town with her?
Why do you think they call me Tumble, Tirin?
Okay. So you had a intimate relationship.
Intimate? I mean, if by intimate you mean hot and heavy behind a random cart, then sure.
Okay, so you have...
She seemed to enjoy it, by the way. Let me just point out that one detail. She seemed to enjoy what she got. I just don't necessarily appreciate what I got afterwards. But, you know, I won't blame her for that. Okay. It's in the past.
So you
now
have...
this is my present.
Okay, so now I know what you're gonna have. But I have to do a... Oh, God. god, this is going to be awkward as
So,
fuck.
before you do anything, how much? Don't take this the wrong way, and don't feel offended when I ask you this, Doc. But how much experience do you have with the stones, as in dwarven stones?
Not much.
I have a feeling that, dwarven stones are a lot different from,
Elven human.
well, certainly different from elves. I mean, you guys are like, by comparison, I would assume, by comparison, are more like pebbles than stones.
Okay, alright. I need to go back to my books of the dwarven biologies, which is not much.
I assume they work the same. Mine just, might
There
be...
There are some differences, yes. However, if you, depending on the race, what was the serpent? Was she also a dwarf or was she different?
She was an elf. Like I said, she was an Orlesian servant.
Okay, so I need to look up and I need to do some. Oh, this is. Okay, Tumble. All right.
I just want to know. I just want to make sure nothing falls off. That's all I want to know.
Do I know of any STDs at least? Or as I
roll a healing. Roll a healing.
Please roll badly. Please roll
This is where
badly.
that sex ed tutorial would have helped you, Skull.
This is where Theoman would have helped. Maybe you should bring Rosie into this conversation.
I should, but I don't. 18.
18?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not aware of anything that causes it to fall off. It would probably be maybe honestly, Violetta might know a hex or curse where something like that would happen, but
Probably
not from a simple rendezvous behind a cart.
yeah, and especially something that's somewhat recent, been a week or so preventable. Okay. No, your stones won't fall off. Do not worry about that.
Okay.
I will have to unfortunately examine you still, though, to at least. It is just to see what you have, so I can.
He drops his pants. He's naked now. He drops his pants. He doesn't even let you finish a sentence. He just drops his pants. And for a dwarf, I mean, impressive.
He's got stones. Okay.
Yeah, he's got stones. Yeah.
Tirin just looks, and just goes. He closes his eyes for a bit, but then he reluctantly opens them, and he's only going to do eye inspection. And for this, so I'm just looking at the moment. I'm not touching. I'm not doing anything.
Okay, come on, Doc. The way that you're acting, you're making me feel like you haven't done enough physical examinations before. I would think by now you would have experienced dozens.
Look, I have done other exams, but not this much.
Oh, so you're saying you're more versed in the female variety. I see.
Oh, by all the gods, stones, and whoever you believe in, let's just
Doc, I had no idea. At this point, the Tumble is like smirking.
I hope you're enjoying this. Just a little bit, even though I know you're probably hurting down there and itching. Just let me at least look. And
Alright.
I'm going to record whatever I see. Okay.
Can't miss it, Doc.
Tirin on his inside, he's just feeling dead as he's doing this a little bit. Hopefully, as time passes, maybe he improves in this experience.
So while you're doing this, Pasha, realistically, because we know that Pasha's the kind of person who just opens doors without knocking. Would you actually knock, or would you just open the door? No, okay. Pasha.
When I hear the door open, no, don't close the door. I run towards the door and I run and I block the way.
Roll a perception, Pasha.
Oh, this is gonna be. Pasha doesn't do
Can I
anything.
try to block
That's
her
an 11.
vision?
11? All right. I'm gonna say you don't see anything specifically, but you'll at least see that one of the Broma brothers, you can't tell which of the three, currently is in the examination room with his pants down. You don't see anything else other than his pants down, and Tirin's like, no.
Pasha, can this wait for a moment? I am in the middle of a physical examination.
Don't worry, Tirin. I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking for Mr. Bunn.
Oh, Mr. Bunn.
Mr. Bunn. That's all I want.
One moment, Tumble, like, close the door behind.
When you turn around, Tumble's already picked up Mr. Bunn from, like, the bed or something. Oh, you mean this thing? And he still has his pants down on his ankles, or on his ankles.
I just look back. But I'm...
Oh,
Tumble.
hey, Pasha, Tumble says.
Tumble, can you please put this on the table? Just put that on the table for now. Just for now.
Alright. He'll go over and, now he's a little shorter, so he's gonna have to stretch up a little bit. And he basically is mooning. He's basically mooning Pasha right now.
Alright, and...
I'm assuming at this point, Pasha notices.
I'm gonna quickly just...
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be back with you. I'll be back with you, Tumble, for a bit. Just wait one moment. I close the door behind.
Okay.
Why do you want Mr. Bunn, Pasha? Because Leon is a good trusted friend of mine, and I know how much he cares for that bunny. I take care for it quite a lot.
I can guarantee Mr. Bunn is perfectly safe. It's more for Rosie. It's a favor for Rosie.
Oh, that whole
Yes.
Okay. Alright. I will... Alright. I open the door and I close it behind. I'm gonna go grab Mr. Bunn.
I think Pasha, as soon as you close, she's just gonna open. She does not understand why does the door keep closing?
Don't, Pasha. I'm in the middle. Whatever. I just grab the bun and I go back to her quickly. Here you go. Here's Mr. Bunn. Take care of him. If there's even the slight remnants of a scratch, I don't know how Leon will take it. He might blast me with magic. He might yell at me. Probably not, because he's a nice guy.
You have my word, Mr. Bunn will be kept safe.
Good.
I like to think as Tirin is backing up, Pasha's just why has Tumble not got his pants on?
That's his physical examination.
Pasha looks very confused, and then she... Oh, you're doing what some Tamazrans back home do, I see. And she walks off.
Close the door behind, look back at Tumble. Okay. I will... I imagine like I've already written down some stuff. I'm gonna continue writing down some stuff. Alright, here's as far as I could tell. Like, is his condition dangerous? Is it like
You don't think so? He probably needs to be treated with some sort of cream or ointment that you can probably create yourself.
Alright.
That and he would just have to apply, like maybe once in the morning and once in the evening before bed, something like that.
Okay. Yours can be preventable, do not worry. You will still have your stones, they'll be there safe. What I will just need to do is I have to create an ointment of sorts that you will have to apply once in the morning and once in the evening. Okay?
That doesn't sound so bad. I guess the most important question is, how long before I can tumble again?
Until it gets better. It could be weeks, it could be a month.
Weeks?
It could be days. Can I actually tell?
Can't you give me something that could, like, I don't know, speed up the process?
Look, if I would be able to do that, I would have given you that. I would give you that option definitely.
Or actually, doesn't that Leon kid know healing magic? Maybe I should talk to him.
I don't think he will help you with that condition. His magic is more normal injuries, cuts, and wounds, not that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I guess then there's some things that magic can't heal then.
If you want, you can maybe pray to the stones of some level, and maybe it will be done in a few days. I can only give you what I have over here with my remedies. Okay?
All right.
And of course, as you know, don't tumble again for now until that clears up. Unless you really hate some people.
That's fine. Thanks, Doc.
You're welcome, Tumble. And put your hands up.
Oh, right, of course. And he'll lift them up.
So probably what's happening is this is probably like later in the day, after afternoon and lunch. Tirin is making his way to Russo's caravan, and he's knocking on the door.
I'll open it. Oh, Tirin.
Russo,
Athon is behind him, by the way.
sorry to kind of barge in, Russo. I just wanted to check up on you and all. If you're cool with the chat.
Dr. Seedov.
Anton? Beastmaster Anton?
Yeah, we got a few chairs. You mind if we take up the center for a little bit, Athon?
Of course, go right ahead.
The beasts are alright, Anton?
Yes, they're doing just fine. I let them graze a little bit near the edge of the Tirashan woods. Not too far in. And honestly, they seemed a little spooked. But besides that, they seem to be doing well.
If they need any medical attention, you can always seek me out.
I appreciate the offer.
But I think you probably already got that handled, I imagine. It's Beastmaster. I nod to him and I, kind of follow Russo.
I'll just move over like a couple stools in the corner or whatever. So, I got a couple hours before Balin's done with his next lesson from Violetta. What do you need?
Just a check up on you, Russo. It's been one hell of few weeks.
Yeah, had a lot happen